Hey guys, Sundown here. This is going to be my chapter review to Nanatsu no Taizai, or the Seven Deadly Sins 333, Pride and Gluttony and Scars, I think it was called. And yeah, apologies for the late review. Been busy at work and I'm not feeling so great. So that's why One Piece and My Hero haven't been out either. But I thought I'd start with this because it should be, technically, a shorter review. Because there's not much really to go on besides the fact that, it's sundown, speaking about the sun going down pretty much and not coming back up in this regard. So in this chapter we have Escanor. Nakaba commits, he kills off Escanor this chapter. I was like, you know what? We've been giving you a lot of shit, so when you do things right, you gotta applaud, you gotta clap the guy, right? Well, probably not the right choice of words right there, but you gotta give props to the guy. Applause all around, right? Nakaba made a good decision in sticking with having Escanor dying, and he didn't do it in some half-assed way as well. People got to say their goodbyes. Meliodas and such they said they would be there and stuff like that. They were there. We got kind of like an ending with Merlin and Escanor, but it brought up more questions, so it has a little bit of kind of mystery spiced around the chapter as well, which is good stuff. I enjoyed that, and we'll get into more about Merlin looking like Deadpool now, well, at least her jaw does, and we'll discuss that as we get into it. So first things first. Now Griever, as you all know, my boy Griever is a big fan, and I agree with him completely, wholeheartedly. He's a big fan of utilizing the cover page, right? So if you have a cover page, either have some sort of information on it. For instance, when we found out about the those demons, I forgot what they were called. The Indras, the Indra of love, whatever it's called. Give us information on them. Let us know more about these creatures. Let us actually see parts of the story that are important through the cover pages. So what do we get in this cover page? We have Zeldris and Gelda just going away. Gelda is in a ball, of kind of bubble of darkness, being lifted away by Zeldris. And I was like, I swear she could fly. Does she need him to transport her? But apparently not. I thought she could fly. Maybe that's just me. Anyway, Diane and everyone are waving at them like, yeah, see you later. They're actually going, all that good stuff. And I'm just like, but what about that drink though? Like, were those all words like, ha, we should have a drink? All right, cool, see you later. That's all it was. It's just lip service, and I was a little bit annoyed by that, I have to admit. And I was just like, come on, man, like, you're gonna say, yeah, let's go grab drinks, then proceed to not grab drinks, and then instead of the grabbing drinks, actually pay attention to the guy who's been dying the last two chapters for no reason. We won't cover that part. The fact that I might brush on it later on a little bit. The fact that this whole death thing it's been poisoned and a little bit sullied, tarnished, if you will, by the fact that Escanor really, really did not need to die. But people can say, that's his pride in action there. He didn't want to not be fighting alongside his friends, alongside the sins. Yeah, I get that. That's your sin, your pride. But I'd rather not die. I'm a proud motherfucker. England, we got the lion as our freaking symbol. Proud motherfucker. But I'd rather not die. I'm just saying. Anyway, Elizabeth's like, oh, he's really gone. Then everyone's going all sullen and shit. And Escanor's like, yeah, it's about time. We all did the same. Everyone's waiting for us. Diane's crying here like, oh, that means you're coming home with us, right? Just a quick pointer here. It's like, I understand Diane's a giant and King is a lot smaller than she is. But it is not, let's not normalize this. It is not normal behavior to hold a guy in between your cleavage. Like, that's not ever going to be a normal thing. Like, please, Nakaba, stop doing this. It weirds me out a bit. I'm just like, seeing King just resting in between the cleavage of Diana. Come on, man. Like, there's times and there's occasions for what's it called, fan service? Is that what fan service? Yep. But now is not the time. We really need that. So we see Meliodas looking over at Escanor. He's obviously saddened. Escanor has been completely burned now. He just looks quite horrific. His body parts are actually burning away, and he's like, I can't even move my body anymore. This is it for me. He says he has no regrets in life, and it's a really, really sullen. It's almost like the inner Escanor, the main Escanor, the nighttime Escanor is speaking through the appearance of the daytime Escanor. It's such a good fusion of their two characters right as he's about to go out. So, he's dropping all of that guise of his pride and stuff like that. And he's just letting everyone know straight from his heart exactly how he feels. So he's like, thank you all for getting to know me and for letting me get to know you. I thought that was awesome. And he's talking here. And this part, I was choking, man. I was like, oh my God, this is so sad. So he's there talking to Garth. He's like, all right, so you're the best confidant I could have asked for. He's like, King and Diane, I apologize. I won't be able to make it to your wedding, but I pray for your happiness. Lady Elizabeth, I felt this was a little bit, not insincere, just that there wasn't really much depth there, in the sense of he's just like, give my warmest regards to His Majesty Handy and the others. Mile, he's like, thank you for everything you did for me. I'm like, Mile's the one that's done the least. You should be kicking the shit out of Mile. Mile's the guy that gave you the grace back, and now you're dying. Now you're dead. But Mile, I can see why he's thanking him. He's like, Ban, maybe you should slow down on the booze a bit. Then he's like, Captain, and you see Meliodas walking towards him, like obviously saddened by what's about to go down, and he's like, I owe you my entire life. You are a true friend to whom there could never be any equal. And I was like, that hits quite deep for me, like especially you can put yourself in Escanor's shoes. This is the guy that beat the shit out of me until I was able to control the part of me that I hated, and then I had pride in that part of me that I hated. He beat me so bad till I was able to control, till I was able to utilize that part of myself, that I loved that part of myself. That part of myself became me. That's what I was proud of, right? So I thought that hit deep, but what would have hit a little bit deeper is if we got the Escanor backstory quite a bit sooner, because we didn't really know that there was much of we knew that Escanor respected Meliodas as his captain. We knew that Meliodas loved Escanor and stuff like that as one of his subordinates and as a friend, but we didn't really have that depth of their friendship. Meliodas has known him for a long time. He's been training with this guy on and off every couple of days, probably beating the living shit out of this guy in order to make him better. And we only got that like a few chapters ago. So that's the issue I have here. This didn't have as much depth as it could have done, because their relationship is only something new to us. Goddamn. I'm not going to edit that out, boys. Anyway, he then goes to Merlin, and he's like, Merlin, I've always loved you. It wasn't just because you reminded me of Rosa, but because you really looked at me, spoke to me, treated me without any prejudice or discrimination. I'm like, yeah, cool. We know this. She's like, oh, for all you know, I could have just, you would just, you could have just been a fascinating test subject for me. And he's like, you know what, I don't really give two shits. I like this part. He's like, nah, I don't really care, as long as I was able to exist in some corner of your heart. I was like, yo, this guy is waxing poet. This guy is reciting those lines, bro. He's dropping bars. Merlin here is actually shaking a little bit, getting a little bit emotional, and she says, you're too late. And then she starts mumbling something here. Let me drink some water. She starts mumbling something here. Oh, goddamn. And what she's mumbling is, she says to him, you're too late. Too late for anything, for everything. Some things just can't be taken back. And I thought she was saying that to Escanor. But upon reread, I feel like she's really muttering that to herself. She's like, you're too late. You're always too late for anything, for everything. Some things just can't be taken back. So there's something that Merlin is still hiding, which we have no idea about, which is fine. There's been 3,000 years of Merlin, which we know nothing about apart from her sin. But her sin has nothing to do with her reason for not loving Escanor back, for not, being receptive to those feelings and, requiting those feelings, if that's even a word. But she says she's too late for anything and everything. Some things just can't be taken back. I don't know what that is. And she even says here, I wish to Escanor, I wish you'd have found me, if possible, 3,000 years sooner, suggesting that if he had found her, then she would love him back. So what happened 3,000 years ago? We know from an OVA, which I have not watched, but people on Reddit have, that she suggested that she had a thing for Meliodas. So is she referring to that? I don't think she is, because I don't think she is still in love with Meliodas. Otherwise, that would be a bit of a weird dynamic. in the sense of, Elizabeth like loves Meliodas, she loves Elizabeth, but she loves Meliodas. One's in a platonic way, one's in a non-platonic way. It's kind of weird. Oh my god. Anyway, Escanor's like, you know what? No matter what, I'm always on your side. No matter what decisions you've made, no matter what crimes, no matter what sins you bear. This shocks the shit out of Merlin, because she's like, she just says, you knew, and he's like, nah, I just had a gut feeling. After all, from the moment I met you, you've always had such a sad look in your eyes. What the frick does he know? What is she surprised about that he knows something? I don't think that made sense. What is she so surprised about? He knows something. Oh my god. He knows something about Merlin, which we don't know. This isn't to do with her sin, but she's shocked that he knows this, and he's like, it's the reason for the sad look that's been in her eyes for the last 3,000 years, and he picked up on it, but she hasn't told the rest of us. She hasn't told the rest of the sins, apparently, and even Meliodas and Elizabeth look confused, and they've known her for the longest, right? So Escanor has some sort of gut feeling it was right, and this turned her on a little bit in the end. Anyway, Escanor's body starts to disintegrate. He warns everybody to get back. Nobody actually listens or proceeds to stand back. Meliodas is like, yeah, I'll see you off, Escanor. I can tank this attack. Well, I can tank this moment. Diane, Ban, and Gatha are just watching. And then Merlin, this is actually on page 12, the third panel. That is actually the JoJo meme, like the one where I've never watched JoJo, but with the guy walking towards the other guy, and we see the kind of angle going up from his legs, and his legs just look super long. That's actually that meme. People need to kind of redraw this panel as that meme. It would be awesome. Anyway, Merlin steps into the now dying, very, very dying Escanor, and she fully just lipses him. She kisses him straight on the lips, and I suppose like Escanor is now, ashen boner is just like, it's so confused. It's like, I don't know what's going on. Anyway, while she's like sucking the life out of him, Escanor, you see his hand move forward to hug her. Then he realizes that he could hurt her, so he pulls it back. Merlin's there, burning her face off, and she just says to Escanor here, she's like, I was never able to reciprocate your feelings, but as proof of your life, as proof that you existed, I'll bear these burns on my body and on my face as the symbol of the one man who ever loved me. And I was like, this is so cool, but also so stupid at the same time. I mean, like, a lot of people will probably hate on me for saying this, but Merlin, like, from my perspective, if I was Escanor and I was about to die in a flamey ball of death, the last thing I'd want is for the lady I'm infatuated with to, as I'm burning my insides out and dying, to then hold me and be like, yeah, I'm going to burn my face so that, it's a symbol of your life. I'm going to be like, yeah, that's the last thing I'd want you to do. If you just kind of cried a little bit, that'd work for me. But you're going to burn your face and your arm. Not a good look. And I don't know, like, it just seems like, I'm not saying it's not genuine, a super genuine move, but I just feel like it's a little bit extra. Like, she could have just been like, yeah, if it was her arm that she burned, and like, this will forever be a symbol of your life, cool. She burned her face off, man. I mean, like, that's a little bit extra. No need for that. Oh my god. Anyway, Escanor is then crying. He's like, yo, shit, she's actually done this. He then says some poetry or some shit, but the main part here is he mentioned something about her having a lonely love and how he was a glass that couldn't hold it, but he wishes that one day there would be a glass that could hold the love of Merlin. She's there now looking like Deadpool on the lower half. Thank God we're on the last page. He then turns into ash, vanishes in the wind. Everybody's sad. Escanor has now died. And we have Meliodas just saying, you know what, sleep well, Escanor. I thought this was a really emotional chapter. I enjoyed it. A solid chapter. Now, how are we going to move forward? I assume the rest will be... I'm hoping this doesn't happen, but I think the rest is going to be people like Arthur coming back into the story after having been sidelined for such a long time. I think that mana, that infinite mana lake of mana, I think that's going to play a big part in Arthur's resurrection. I think they're just going to like throw him and yeet him into that lake, and he's he's just going to come back stronger, come back alive or some shit. Like, yeah, the mana flooded through his pores and went into the hole in his chest and stitched it back up. That was enough to revive him. He didn't need the blood that he'd lost. He's okay. He didn't need any of that. It just kind of magically resuscitated his ass. Which I think I truly believe that's going to happen. That's the only reason I can see Nakaba shoehorning in that infinite mana lake thing. That's the only reason. I think that's going to be a device used to pull Escanor back to the land of the living. But other than that, I'm going to end this review here before I start roasting Nakaba on any of the other plot points besides this chapter, which was good. Just because I can't hold a sentence together. I can't string a sentence together without coughing. So I'll see you guys in a bit, hopefully tomorrow, when I release maybe One Piece and My Hero, maybe just One Piece. But I'll see you guys in a bit.